3 kilometers beneath the ocean surface, sunlight disappeared long ago. Down here, there is only darkness, near freezing cold, and pressure powerful enough to crush a human body in an instant. I have always thought this was one of the most alien places on Earth. But what amazes me even more is that, in this hostile world, a mammal is still hunting every single day. It does not have gills. It breathes air just like we do, and that animal is the sperm whale. How can a mammal survive down there? If there is one thing that makes the sperm whale different from most creatures of the deep sea, it is a very simple fact. It does not truly belong there. A sperm whale has no gills. Every breath it takes must come from the ocean surface, just like ours. And yet, this massive animal, sometimes weighing more than 50 tons, can dive nearly 3 kilometers beneath the waves in search of food. When I first learned about this, I thought I had misunderstood the numbers. At those depths, even modern submersibles operate with extreme caution. The pressure can crush metal. No sunlight reaches that world, and the temperature hovers just above freezing. So what allows a sperm whale to do something that seems almost impossible? The answer is not one single organ. It is the way its entire body has been shaped for deep diving. Before a dive, the whale stores oxygen with remarkable efficiency. Some is held in the lungs, much is carried through the blood, and a large amount is stored directly inside the muscles for use during long descents. Even its enormous square-shaped head plays a role. Inside is the spermaceti organ, a massive structure linked to sound production, buoyancy, and life under extreme pressure. What fascinates me most is that sperm whales do not survive these dives because they are reckless. They survive because they are prepared. As the whale slips into darkness, its body begins conserving energy in extraordinary ways. Its heart rate slows. Blood flow is prioritized for the organs that need oxygen most. Non-essential activity is reduced. The entire animal begins operating like a living submarine, carefully managing every breath it took at the surface. And thanks to these adaptations, the sperm whale has achieved something almost no other mammal can do. It has turned one of the harshest environments on Earth into its hunting ground. How does it see anything in total darkness? But surviving at depths of 3 kilometers is only half the story, because even if you can get down there, another question immediately appears. How do you hunt in complete darkness? At the depths where sperm whales often travel, sunlight simply does not exist. There is no sunrise, no sunset, no faint glow for eyes to use. If a human somehow appeared there, we would see nothing but endless blackness. Yet sperm whales still find their way. They still locate prey. That is because sperm whales rely very little on vision. Instead, they see with sound. Inside the massive square head of a sperm whale is one of the most remarkable biological navigation systems ever to evolve on Earth. The whale produces powerful clicking sounds that travel through the dark water. These sound waves strike objects and return as echoes. From those echoes, the whale constructs a three-dimensional map of its surroundings: distance, size, shape, direction of movement. All of it recreated through sound. I used to think total darkness would leave any creature helpless. But sperm whales have almost turned darkness into an advantage. While many animals depend on sight, they use a sense that darkness cannot disable. What is even more astonishing is how powerful those clicks are. They rank among the loudest sounds produced by any animal on the planet. For a sperm whale, every burst of clicks is like a giant searchlight sweeping across the abyss. While the rest of the world disappears into darkness, the sperm whale is still seeing everything, just in a completely different way. And it is this remarkable ability that has helped make it one of the most effective predators in the deep ocean. The enemy in the darkness. But all of those extraordinary abilities lead to one very simple question. What exactly is the sperm whale searching for in the darkness? The answer is a creature that, for centuries, many people believed existed only in legend: the giant squid. Long before modern science explored the deep ocean, sailors told frightening stories about enormous sea monsters with tentacles so long they could drag entire ships beneath the waves. The creature appeared under many different names. Today, we know that at least part of those legends was inspired by a very real animal, the giant squid. And perhaps the most unsettling thing about it is that it truly is gigantic. Some individuals can reach lengths of nearly 60 feet. Their eyes are among the largest in the animal kingdom, perfectly designed to detect movement in the darkness of the deep sea. Their long feeding tentacles are lined with powerful suckers, many equipped with sharp rings and hooks capable of gripping struggling prey with terrifying force. If you looked only at the giant squid, you might easily assume it was the undisputed ruler of the abyss. Then the sperm whale arrives. What fascinates me most is that no human being has ever witnessed a complete battle between these two giants in their natural environment. No cameras, no witnesses, no sunlight. So how do we know these battles happen? Because sperm whales carry the evidence on their bodies. Many adult whales are covered in large circular scars across their heads and flanks. These are not bite marks. They are the fingerprints of desperate giant squid fighting for their lives. The powerful suckers leave behind permanent scars during violent underwater struggles. And on the other side of the story, scientists frequently discover giant squid beaks inside the stomachs of sperm whales. It is almost like a crime scene reconstructed from scars and bones. Every piece of evidence points toward the same conclusion. Somewhere in the darkness, thousands of feet beneath the ocean surface, colossal battles are still taking place. And most of the time, the sperm whale is the one that wins. The largest brain in a mysterious language. If the story of the sperm whale ended with deep dives and battles against giant squid, it would already be one of the most remarkable animals on Earth. But the story goes much further. Beneath that enormous square-shaped head lies the largest brain of any known living animal. The brain of an adult sperm whale can weigh around 18 pounds, many times heavier than a human brain. Of course, size alone does not automatically mean intelligence. What interests scientists is what the animal appears capable of doing. For years, researchers noticed that sperm whales produced short sequences of sounds known as codas. At first, these sounds seemed simple, little more than contact signals in the darkness of the ocean. But the deeper researchers looked, the stranger the story became. Sperm whale groups do not all produce the same patterns. Some vocal styles remain consistent for generations. That means these sounds are not entirely controlled by instinct. They are learned, remembered, and passed on. For scientists, that is one of the clearest signs of culture. Yet somewhere beneath the ocean surface, sperm whales may be doing something surprisingly similar. Young whales do not simply inherit these communication patterns. They learn them and carry them throughout their lives. It is strange to realize that what we often describe as a silent ocean may actually be filled with conversations we cannot understand. Today, scientists are using artificial intelligence to analyze thousands of hours of sperm whale recordings. Their goal is to search for hidden structures inside these sequences of clicks, patterns, rules, perhaps even something resembling the building blocks of language. No one knows how far that research will go. But every time I read about it, I wonder the same thing. How many conversations are taking place beneath the ocean right now that we completely fail to understand? How many warnings? How many greetings? How many lessons passed from mother to calf? Because it is possible that while we struggle to decode one click at a time, sperm whales have already been communicating through their own sophisticated system for millions of years. And if that is true, then one of the most fascinating languages on Earth may not belong to humans at all. It may belong to a giant hunter drifting through the darkness of the deep ocean. Families of the deep. When we imagine a massive predator living in the abyss, we often picture a solitary hunter. Once again, the sperm whale shatters that expectation. Most of its life does not revolve around hunting, it revolves around family. In tropical oceans, female sperm whales typically live in stable groups made up of multiple generations. A single group may include mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts, nieces, and individuals that have spent decades together. What surprised me most was the way they care for their young. A mother sperm whale may dive thousands of feet beneath the surface in search of food, while her calf is still too young to make such journeys. During that time, other females remain near the surface to watch over and protect the calf. In other words, they have babysitters. And when danger appears, that social bond becomes even more obvious. If killer whales approach, adult females quickly gather around the calves. They form a defensive circle, keeping the younger animals protected in the center. This is not the behavior of an individual simply trying to survive. It is the behavior of a community. It also helps explain why many scientists believe sperm whales possess a genuine form of culture. Not only because they have distinct vocal dialects, but because knowledge itself can be passed through generations. Migration routes, hunting grounds, safe waters. All of it can be shared within family groups. Honestly, this is not the image I usually associate with an animal famous for battling. Giant squid in total darkness. And perhaps one of the strangest behaviors of all appears when sperm whales rest. In 2008, scientists recorded groups of sperm whales sleeping upright in the ocean. Nearly motionless, they drift vertically with their heads near the surface and tails hanging below, like giant floating pillars. Several whales often rest together this way before continuing their journey. The sight is so unusual that many people assume the footage is reversed. Yet it is completely real, another reminder of how mysterious these deep-diving giants remain. We almost killed what we didn't understand. The tragic reality is that for most of human history, sperm whales were not viewed as wonders of nature. They were viewed as resources. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, thousands of whaling ships crossed the world's oceans searching for these giants. The reason was not primarily their meat. What people truly wanted was hidden inside those enormous heads. Spermaceti oil. Before electricity, this valuable substance was used to fuel lamps, lubricate machinery, and support industries. To many nations of the time, a sperm whale was less a living creature than a floating oil field. There was another substance that could be even more valuable: ambergris. Formed within the digestive system of sperm whales, ambergris became one of the most sought-after ingredients in luxury perfume production. A large piece could sometimes be worth as much as an entire house. So the hunting continued, year after year, decade after decade. Animals that required years to mature were being killed far faster than they could reproduce. Scientists estimate that global sperm whale populations declined by hundreds of thousands, possibly well over 1 million, during commercial whaling. What always makes me pause is how little we actually knew about them at the time. We did not understand their family bonds. We did not know they had dialects. We did not know how they cared for their young. And we certainly did not understand the true extent of their intelligence. We spent centuries killing an animal before we truly understood what it was. Fortunately, large-scale commercial whaling was eventually restricted, giving sperm whale populations a chance to recover. But even today, they still face threats from ship strikes, fishing gear, pollution, and other human-created dangers. Perhaps this is one of the greatest ironies in natural history. We once valued sperm whales because of what we could take from them. Yet the more I learn about them, the more I feel their greatest value was never the oil or the ambergris. It was simply their existence. The ocean's collection of impossibilities. After everything we have explored, I think the most interesting question is no longer what a sperm whale can do. It is whether any other animal is truly like it. To answer that, let's compare it with some of its most famous relatives. The blue whale is the largest animal ever known to have lived on Earth. It is longer and heavier than the sperm whale, yet much of its life revolves around filtering tiny creatures such as krill from seawater. Dolphins are famous for their intelligence, problem-solving abilities, and complex social behavior. Meanwhile, Cuvier's beaked whale is one of the deepest diving animals ever recorded. But what is strange is that the sperm whale seems to borrow something from all of them. It is not the largest. It is not the deepest diver. It is not generally considered the most intelligent. And yet it ranks near the top in all of those categories at the same time. A giant approaching 60 feet in length, the largest toothed predator on Earth, a deep-sea hunter capable of descending nearly 3 kilometers into darkness, an animal with the largest brain of any living creature on Earth, a species with dialects, culture, and family traditions that span generations. Perhaps what impresses me most is that all of those qualities exist within a single creature. Nature usually demands trade-offs, yet the sperm whale seems to reject those limitations. It is a giant, yet it remains a hunter. It is a hunter, yet it remains deeply social. It is deeply social, yet it spends much of its life in a world we can barely access. And perhaps that is why the more I learn about sperm whales, the less they feel like ordinary whales. They feel more like a collection of the ocean's greatest impossibilities assembled into a single living creature. After everything I have learned about sperm whales, one thought remains. Somewhere beneath miles of black water, they are still communicating, hunting, and following ancient pathways we barely understand. Perhaps the strangest thing is not the whale itself. It is that after thousands of years, we still know so little about its world.